this whole conversation, I was thinking of an example I read in a book called Mastery by, I think, Leonard Schlein, something like that. He's like an Aikido master. I think he's like Western, but he lived in Japan for a long time. And he talks about being maybe, I don't know what era this was, excuse me, but being on the subway in Tokyo, and there was this, it was at night, I guess, and this young, big, drunk guy came on and he was harassing people and kind of making people scared and offended and everything. And the author at that time was practicing martial arts a lot, and he was like ready to like beat him up, or at least take him down and everything, kind of getting ready for that. And then this like old man was like come here, like come over here, come sit down over here, and like totally not angry, not just totally friendly, just nice, just totally. This reminds me of dialectical behavioral therapy of like oh God, I'm going to forget the term now. I haven't worked in that field for a while, but it's basically like ignoring the story that is building up emotionally, and just like changing the story completely. Like you cut off the page, and you're writing a new story now with the same elements. um but and that's what the old man was doing. He's like, come here, come sit down, just totally friendly, totally nice, like, like he's just a nice person. He just wants to come sit, and just started chatting with him. I don't know if he started saying, I can't remember what he said, like, so, maybe something about you look like my grandson or blah blah blah, but he just totally ignored the supposedly appropriate response of fear and anger, and and of course, caveat, I'm not saying if this guy has had a gun or a knife, or he was literally beating the crap out of someone, or that you just totally ignore that or something. Let's I hope we can always caveat things with common sense in our conversations. I mean, we don't, it goes out on the internet, so, but
Yeah. I mean, we always got to cover it a little bit, but I think it's fair to say. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, I was just honestly, I'm just so inspired by that example. I kind of hope I could someday be a little bit, be maybe a lot like, but at least a little bit like that old man, and have that, just the seeing through the drunken aggression to like the human being that's maybe lonely, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's, because that is very beginner's mind. It's just being in the situation without the preconceived notions of drunk man, without the preconceived notions of violence, without the preconceived notions of like, oh, I need to cower. I need to, it's like all of that's a heuristic, I guess. Those are all heuristics from what I understand from the Vervaeke thing. It's not a term that I'm familiar with. They're all strategies we've created as shortcuts so we don't have to think about everything.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that something something that's not included in that story that I think is an important part of the equation, which no complaint. It's hard. You can't include everything in the story. It's not saying the story is problematic. It's a great
Hmm.
story.
Hmm.
But to further develop it is not everybody can do that. And if you try, like, oh, hey, buddy, come sit by me. But if you're feeling fear, or
Yeah,
if you're feeling
that's
like
right.
I'm going to control this guy, especially somebody who's drunk, who's is kind of in their instinct, and they're just going to pick up on that, and they're going to like, fuck you, man. I'm going to sit by you, you fucking
Yeah,
old man. And
that's
they
right.
might come over and start harassing you,
Yeah.
right? Um, so it can't just be a further heuristic that you're applying,
Yeah. Yeah.
because or at least an intellectual strategy, you have to genuinely be simple. You have to genuinely be okay. The like I was saying before, the reality, like with the dog, the reality of the situation is I am here, that person is there, they're behaving in a way that is causing, you know, suffering for these people. What he's causing it, and this isn't something that you think about. This is the truth of the situation that through training you just naturally see,
Mm.
right? He's causing suffering because he's suffering. Being drunk is suffering, being drunk. The desire to get drunk comes from suffering.
Mm.
So he's probably having a hard time, you know? And from that place, once you see him as somebody who's having a hard time, hey man, come on, come and sit over here. Like, what's going on? Like, not even what's going on, tell me about it, but just like, how's your day been? Like, you see him, you experience the truth of him as a suffering being, and compassion naturally arises genuinely within you. That's just part of the interdependent arising, everything being interdependent, everything arising together. When you see the truth of the suffering, compassion will interdependently arise to meet the suffering. That's the nature of reality. You just have to be there to allow it to unfold. And the development of that over time is to my mind, that's wisdom.